Notice your first reaction to this painting. Whatever it is, keep it here. Mine, well, the first time I looked at it quite some time ago, I saw a problem. Overweight women in dire need of Ozempic or a structured fasting plan. And for years I looked at my own body the same way. A problem that needs fixing. But 400 years ago, a poet who saw this painting proclaimed that one of these three women surpasses Helen of Troy in her beauty. Can you guess? Which one? So, I wasn't looking for art. I was actually researching, out of all things, the evolution of fat. Why do we, or at least why do I, get fat if it's not so good for us humans? And this painting surfaced again, for obvious reasons, but something clicked differently in my head this time, so I decided to do a bit more research. And it turns out this painting by Rubens was painted around 1630 and is called The Three Graces. At that time, Rubens was already 53 and one of the most famous and praised painters of Europe. So he was making good money selling his work. But this painting was special. Rubens painted it for himself and it was on display in his own house. And that year, 1630, when he started to work on this piece, was quite a year. Europe got into the second decade of the 30 Years' War. Italy just got famine and then plague. Humans died left and right by the thousands. You can call it business as usual. Because for people of that time, death ran the shop around the clock with the help of war, pestilence, and hunger. So war never changes and never stops. Plague is hidden, you cannot see it coming, but hunger? Well, you can try to fight back, at least grow some crops, stock the surplus, and humans have tried exactly that for tens of thousands of years with different degree of success. Because unfortunately for all of humans back then, there is a trap known as Malthusian check. When a good harvest makes extra food, humans make extra babies. Babies grow up, multiply, and inevitably eat all the harvest. And knock knock, who's there? Hunger and famine. Humans like to multiply exponentially, but food is not so fast. So the first grace on the picture is Thalia, which means bloom, flourishing, abundance. We don't know exactly which one, but I think the one near the horn, because that's cornucopia, the horn of plenty, water, wine, unlimited food, which means nobody is starving here in this paradise. In a world where famine was a common guest, such soft, well-fed bodies, they were visual proof that you are making it through the next winter. It signified wealth, health, fertility. It was everything you wanted back then. So what you see is like a wish for better future, or in that time, like a prayer. Well, actually, only two of those girls are a prayer. One was a real girl. But the bottom line, that century looked at these bodies and saw beauty, where I saw weight problem. But that's how we are trained by our environment. And back then it was famine, but what is it today? Too many questions. So let's start to check them out. The girl, that's the one on the left, Helena of Antwerp, 16 years old, and as it happens, also Rubens' wife, second wife at that. And they just got married the year of the painting, so this probably was a wedding gift. And it wasn't the only one. He painted Helena again and again and again. There is a nice portrait of her stepping out of the bath, and yay, she's exactly as she was. All the dimples and folds, as they say today, no filters. But Rubens loved it, and it wasn't just him. The king of Spain had a brother who met Helena in person, and we have it in the records. He called her the most beautiful woman of that time. The poet I've mentioned before, Jean Caspar Gevraltus, wrote, quote, Helen of Antwerp, who far surpasses Helen of Troy. Well, every time period has its own Helen of Troy, today as well. You don't even have to search. People still argue. Because there was never a measurement. Back then, a voluptuous body was simply rare, and only the rich could afford one. But today, after thousands of years, thousands of hungry years, came machines which practically overnight, as far as evolution goes, broke the trap and calories got cheap. But good quality food and gym time became expensive, and everything flipped. Skinny became this rare, expensive thing which requires work, and skinny became beautiful. And of course, I judged Helena and the painting by this new standard. And of course, for many years, that's how I judged myself and tried to shape my body into better shape. And it went as usual, up and down and up, one guilt trip after another. But at some point, I started to ask myself, why? What's the point of living like that without any joy and feeling bad and sad about every cookie I inevitably ate? And that brings us nicely to the third grace. Her name is Euphrosyne, or Euphrosyne, which means mirth, cheer, and joy. So what if that is the right approach to life? I mean, if you ate the cookie, at least enjoy the damn cookie. And if you have extra weight, which you think is a problem, just keep it separate from calling yourself a problem. Otherwise, it's almost like you're playing against yourself, and naturally you want to sabotage your enemy. But when you treat yourself as your friend, you have much better chances to do something good for your friend. So, whatever happens, start with grace. Be thankful for the abundance, beauty, and joy, because the other approach just doesn't work. Extra pounds, well, they're not necessarily good, but they're still the work of art. When you can say that looking in the mirror, oh, this is the work of art, it becomes much easier to work on yourself. And that's probably, most likely, that missing piece between work of art and the masterpiece. So that first reaction I asked you to keep. Here's the painting one more time. And please comment what you see. Helen, our beauty here, and Rubens, they had 5 kids. Today you can find this painting in the Museum of Prado in Madrid. And right now, if you want to check how structured fasting protocol can align with evolution, how it was shaped, and if it actually aligns with you, let's fast forward to this video together. Cheers.